Hey everybody, Alex Kazura, SteelersDepot.com, back with a Pittsburgh Steelers preview and prediction for Sunday's game at 4:25 Eastern Time. Color rush game between the Pittsburgh Steelers and Cincinnati Bengals. Pittsburgh 3-6, Cincinnati 5-4. The rematch game after Pittsburgh won the opener 23-20 in overtime. Big game for both teams. Let's talk about what to watch for in this contest. No Jamar Chase for the Bengals offense, but that group is still a potent unit, finding more traction on the ground. Joe Mixon, for my money, still one of the more underrated running backs in football. I think him as a receiver, I think he's done well and made plays the last couple of games, vertically split out and had a great scramble drill touchdown against Carolina, their last game. Bengals coming off a bye as well. So you got to stop the run. That's always going to be important. But, how does Cincinnati use their pass game adjusting without Jamar Chase? They still have weapons in T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, Joe Burrow. Whenever he sees a 1v1 matchup when you're playing single high, as Pittsburgh probably will to try to stop that run game, slow down Joe Mixon, Burrow's going to take his shot. So can the outside corners who played so well last week, Levi Wallace, Cam Sutton, can they do that again against Higgins? Boyd's more of a slot guy, but he can move around. That's going to be key in this game. Despite the Bengals' many attempts to upgrade their offensive line, it's still not a tremendous unit. Burrow's been sacked 30 times this year. Now, not all sacks are created equal. I'm sure some are on the offensive line, on Burrow, on the receivers, on the scheme, but still, you saw the way Pittsburgh got after it in the first meeting. We'll see how left guard Cordell Volson, who was making his debut in that opener, and Cam Hayward absolutely welcomed him to the NFL. Pittsburgh had 7 sacks in this game. It's going to be awfully hard to expect this defense to get 7 sacks and 5 turnovers again, but you got to be able to create some splash against Cincinnati. That's obviously going to be key. TJ Watt, he's back. Minkah Fitzpatrick is playing, or appears to be playing. That's fantastic, and to some degree surprising news just 1 week removed from his emergency appendectomy. But Pittsburgh has all their guys, all their starters, and they got to play pretty close to the way they played in week 1. Flipping over to the Bengals defense, to me, still an underrated, pretty stout unit. Maybe not quite as good as was where they were last year in terms of some of the pressure that they're missing that they had last year, but I still think it's a good unit. They're going to get back a big guy in the middle, nose tackle, DJ Reader. Hendrickson, still a potent guy off the edge. To me, Sam Hubbard might be one of the most underrated and well-rounded edge players in the NFL and is having a really good year and has always played well against the Pittsburgh Steelers. At linebacker, you got some really good guys in Logan Wilson, Jermaine Pratt, Akeem Davis-Gaither plays in sub-package. So in the back end, you got Bell and Bates and Mike Hilton. It's a good group overall. I think with the Pittsburgh Steelers run game, you want to keep it between the tackles, B-gap to B-gap, because the Bengals pursue well. I think power and gap's going to be tough to run schematically with the way the Bengals will shoot gaps, the way that Hubbard plays things. Their backside pursuit is excellent. Their guys who really chase the football hard, so I'm going more inside zone, duo, keep the ball downhill, allow your running backs like Najee Harris to stick with that downhill mentality they showed in that win over the Saints. That's going to be my philosophy to try to gain traction on the ground. But I think the biggest concern and biggest matchup to watch overall in this game is going to be beating the blitz, and how well does Kenny Pickett and the Steelers offense handle all the sim pressure and mug and aggressive looks the Bengals show on third down. Anytime you're in 3rd and 5+ or obvious pass situations, the Bengals are probably going to show some really exotic looks. They're not typically a blitz-heavy team, and their blitz rate this year is not tremendously high. I think it's a bit below average, but they will really show some cover zero looks. They'll bluff, they'll drop guys, they'll bring guys. They really try to create a lot of chaos for the quarterback. I imagine they're going to do the same against a rookie quarterback. They faced a veteran in Trubisky in week 1. Their first look at Kenny Pickett. You saw the Saints do similar, give Kenny Pickett problems last Sunday in week 10. Can Pittsburgh solve them from a quarterback standpoint, from an O-line standpoint, running back standpoint, receiver standpoint? Who's hot? Who's going to get the ball if the blitz comes? Can back scan and protect and know who to get? How do you handle those big, weighty downs, third down, obvious stuff that you have to win, but how do you handle the pressure, or the appearance of the pressure is going to be, I think, the thing that decides this game. So overall, my prediction, and hey, you can start making fun of me a little bit less. I'm up to, I think, 4-5 on the year in my predictions. I got the Bengals, though, unfortunately, winning this one is my pick for the week, 23-16. Just think the odds of Pittsburgh being able to replicate their dominance defensively in week 1, a game in which they still barely won, needed a crazy blocked extra point at the end of the game with the Bengals losing their long snapper. I just hard to see that happening again to that extent. Pittsburgh's still struggling to score, even in a game against the Saints where things went as good as they have in any given game this year. Pittsburgh's still only scoring 20 points, 2 of 5 in the red zone. The Bengals are a better situational football team overall, and I think Pickett will have some mistakes against some of those blitz-heavy looks from the Bengals. So I got Cincinnati winning this one 23-16. So those are my thoughts on this game. Of course, win, lose, or draw. We'll be back to cover this one on Sunday evening. It's a 4:25 kickoff. And again, really big game. Should Pittsburgh win this game? And if I'm wrong about my prediction, then they're 4-6, and we're having an earnest and much larger degree legitimate conversation about the playoffs. Still would be a lot of work to do, but it's not a fantasy to talk about postseason play if this team keeps stacking wins. So that's what this team is looking for, their first win streak of the year. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Who are you picking? Are you taking the Steelers? Are you going to go Bengals on this one? Let me know your reasons in the comments below. If you guys could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I'd appreciate it. Again, thank you for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.